Hey everyone, back with some more information on Greece. Today's topic is going to be the city-state of Athens. Athens is northeast of Sparta, and it was at least a 2-day trip. Remember, we're obviously not taking cars, planes, trains, anything like that. You're either walking or you're trying to get there on boat. Athens is going to have much different values and a much different government than Sparta, and that's what we're going to break down a little bit throughout this PowerPoint today. Life in Athens. Athenian children are going to have 3 different teachers. One of those teachers is going to teach boys to read, write, and do arithmetic. Arithmetic essentially is math. Another is going to teach sports, and the third is going to teach them to play a lyre, or I've also heard it as a lyre, which is a stringed instrument. It's sort of like a handheld harp. It's what Cupid carries around, if you've ever seen that. And the goal here was to create well-rounded boys that finished school at the age of 18. Notice that talking about school there, that the focus was boys. You're not seeing anything about girls going to school, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. So what are the girls doing while the boys are at school? Girls are going to stay at home primarily. Their mothers are going to teach them spinning, weaving, and other household duties. Wealthy girls, however, will learn to read, write, and to play the lyre, but they're not going to attend school to do this. They're going to be able to hire private tutors to come and teach those girls. So early on in Athens, land-owning nobles are going to pretty much have the power and rule, and we're talking about the 600s BC at that time. An assembly of all citizens did exist, but they really didn't have much power. And the government was actually an oligarchy, just like it was in Sparta. If you remember not too long ago talking about Sparta, if we think back to what an oligarchy is and the parts of the oligarchy, you had the 2 kings at the top, and then the council that would make the laws and the assembly that would pass the laws. Athenians are going to rebel against the nobles. Most of the farmers owed nobles money. In order to pay them back, they would have to sell themselves into slavery. Farmers are going to demand an end to all of these debts, along with land for the poor. Both sides, so you have the wealthy, the upper class, the nobles, and the farmers, both trusted a man named Solon. They decided that he should come up with a solution that would keep both sides happy. So Solon is going to start out by canceling all of the farmers' debt, and he frees those in slavery. Then he's going to allow all white male citizens to participate in the assembly. He is going to create a council of 400 wealthy citizens to write the laws, and then the assembly was responsible for passing the laws. The reforms were popular with the common people. However, the farmers wanted Solon to take away the nobles' land. He refused to do this. So he believed that he was being fair. He gave the farmers something that they wanted. Their debts were gone. They were paid off, and they no longer had to be slaves. And he was also giving something to the nobles as well. So this was his way of coming up with a fair solution. After Solon, there's going to be 30 years of turmoil because there's not going to be one clear-cut leader. That's going to change when a tyrant named Pisistratus takes power in 560 BC. And if you remember when we were talking in our last PowerPoint over Sparta, a tyrant was actually typically a good thing in Greece. Pisistratus will gain the support of the poor by dividing large estates among landless farmers. And he's going to also loan money to poor people and give them jobs. The most important leader in Athens is going to be Cleisthenes. He also has a really great beard based on this picture. He is going to come to power in the year 508 BC, and he's going to reorganize the assembly to play a central role in governing. He decides that all male citizens could belong to the assembly and vote. If you were a citizen. That means you were allowed to debate matters, hear court cases, and appoint generals. Cleisthenes is then going to create a new 500-person council. The purpose of this 500-person council is to propose laws, deal with foreign countries, and oversee the treasury. The treasury is going to just be like in charge of money. Athenians would choose members of the council through a lottery. They did this because they thought that elections would favor the rich. So if you think about elections today, in order to get elected, you're going to see a lot of advertisements. It might be on TV, it might be yard signs, it might be in a newspaper, on a billboard. Regardless, you're going to see advertisements. Advertisements cost money. So a lot of times, if you have money, you're more likely to win because you're going to be able to have your name out there more. The Athenians didn't want that. They didn't want people to be able to buy votes. So if you wanted to be in the council, you could just put your name in. Then they're going to draw 500 random names to be in that council. So you could be chosen regardless of your social status or your economic status in Athens. Non-citizens were still excluded. That was the one caveat there. You still had to be a citizen in order to be a member of the council. Cleisthenes is going to be credited with making the government of Athens a democracy. This is going to be the first democracy that we see in all of history. That is the end of the notes for Athens.